Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to An Impact on Your Health. An Impact on Your Health, where every day our goal is to have you learn at least one thing to help you live better and longer. An Impact on Your Health, heard every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock. I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney, and I'm with you each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9. An Impact on Your Health, where each day you'll find current medical news, knowledgeable guests, fascinating health topics, and where we encourage you to call in to join in. Today is our Friday version of the show. We call this the Get 'em Up Out of Town version of the show. Hope you all look forward to I guess it's going to be a soggy weekend. You'll hold up okay. I'm a little concerned about some of those low-lying areas hearing about flood warnings already today. Weather it well, folks. I hope you enjoy your weekend, and no matter what kind of circumstances you find yourself in. The circumstances we find ourselves in today is we're going to open it up to you. It's going to be the last in a long line of open phone shows. I've really enjoyed allowing you to set the agenda. You have so much on your mind that you want to get off your chest. You piqued a couple interest in me. You appear to have a lot of interest in ECP. We certainly can talk about it today. Cardiovascular treatment in general, things like chelation therapy, correction of risk factors, those dastardly 8 lab tests that no doctor orders except, well, we of course do, and will foretell and forecast your risk factors with respect to cardiovascular disease. Clot busting and things like that. We could open the can of worms on all of those. We'll let you decide whether you actually want to open it or not. Anything on your mind is okle-dokle with me. Of course, as you would well know by now, to get in on this, you need to have a number. Go and write this number down. Have it close to your radio and your phone, 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. We will let you set the agenda today. Now, let's look at some calendar items. On Monday, Mr. Dr. Ed, talking about Edward Condrat, ophthalmologist, board-certified ophthalmologist, but trained in various alternative approaches. He claims to be, and I believe he probably is, the only homeopathic ophthalmologist in the entire, well, we know for the sure sake the country, but for that matter, who knows, maybe the entire world. He's a favorite son of Pittsburgh. We used to have a practice right here in Mount Lebanon a number of years ago. Left and went out to Phoenix, and now moves around the country, offering his unique way of treating some pretty dismal eye disorders. I say that because conventional medicine isn't doing well on many of these, things like glaucoma, things like, macular degeneration, a big one. And comes to various towns, now coming to Pittsburgh, third time in a year, to have another 12. He takes 12 at a time. Don't know the status of his current enrollees with respect to when he comes to Pittsburgh he's going to be here on the 21st of March for a free seminar. You all know about that. Going to be at 10 o'clock at the Airport Marriott, which is at the Montour Run exit out in the Parkway West. I say past all that clutter up the top of Robinson Town Center. As you go down the other side on the way to Greater Pitt Airport, the first exit you get to is Montour Run. That big hotel that you see right along the Parkway is the Marriott, and that's where he was last time in December. That's where he'll be this time. Going to have a free seminar on the 21st, 10 o'clock. I'll be there. I always enjoy meeting many of you, and certainly did the last time. And then he's going to spend about 3 hours talking about the entire program that he offers and allowing you to ask questions. So if you have any eye disorders yourself, if you know somebody that's not doing too well under their current treatment with conventional medicine, you just got, with respect to eye disorders, that is, you just got to come on out there and listen to the free seminar for sure, and just maybe be involved in a treatment seminar. I'm going to give you the 800 number so that you can contact the office out in Phoenix to find out what the status is in terms of the enrollees. He does cut this off at 12. The number out there is 1-800-430-5600. 1-800-430-9328. 1-800-430-9328. On the 17th, which is Wednesday, Christopher Moore is going to be here talking about 4 advances that could end heart disease. Always, boy, am I always interested in topics such as those. Then on Monday, this is just newly inked yesterday. On Monday, the 22nd, we're going to have Dr. Eric Shapira, a gerontologist. If you don't know what that is, many of us will be finding out all too soon. The baby boomers are hitting it. They're hitting retirement age. And gerontology is a study of aging and diseases associated with aging. Anyway, we're going to have Dr. Shapira here on the 22nd talking about what are the keys to aging gracefully and how to get the most out of your senior years. That's on the 22nd. And that pretty much rounds it out for the schedule. I did hear a knock on the door. Come on in the store. Hello and welcome aboard.
Hey, what's up, Doc?
Danville, there it is, right there at the opening salvo. What happened,
Right.
Danville? What happened?
Okay, I found the product. It has glucosamine hydrochloride and chondroitin sulfate and MSM in it.
So different. It's a different form of the glucosamine. It's a hydrochloride instead of sulfate.
Good.
I don't know. However, because you have the MSM there, you have the sulfur molecule, which is really an important molecule. So maybe they glom off the sulfur from the MSN, and then it sort of fortifies the glucosamine hydrochloride instead of which has been sulfur molecules in abundance between the two, glucosamine sulfate and chondroitin sulfate. You just removed a sulfur donor source and added another one with the MSN. So somebody might have found out that works a little better. I don't think I can answer the question, but somebody thinks it's helpful.
They what the funny thing is they use it on horses. This product.
Oh, they use all these things on horses. Way before human beings ever got a crack at it. Veterinary medicine and those that work in the farming industry all know too well what works and what doesn't, because they got a lot of money vested in these animals, and they can't have them prematurely either aging or getting injured or whatever it may be. So it's no surprise to me that they treat horses that way, don't they?
Yeah,
Good luck. Hey, let me know how the product turns out, and if I can find anything. If anybody out there listening today knows why the hydrochloride molecule and a moiety is being substituted for the sulfate, because I know you need the sulfur for this, and we got a sulfur donor with the MSN. Maybe it all works out to be better. Maybe it doesn't. If anybody has information, keep listening, Danville. My listeners will know.
Oh, I can't get you on the net at all. I don't understand it. I went to the library. I went to the other place. I can't get your website. It's DennisJCourtney.com, right?
At DJCMD.com. You can try that. Sure.
Okay. None of them. That's something.
I'm broadcasting right now, and I know I always like to hear when you're getting me in visually and audially. I'll check up on that. Anybody else having trouble out there, let me know too, because I'll have to contact the techie. Okay, Danville, hang in there. All right, I think he's gone. I think Danville's gone. Anyway, you see how it works. You get to call up here, 412-825-6262, 412-825-6262. Product-wise, let's talk a little bit about that. I always want to mention Fruit of the Spirit. It is this unique product that we introduced to you here in Pittsburgh. I don't know whether other sources of it are available. I do know that we first offered it. Maybe we continue to be one of the few, if not the unique source of it. Deborah Ray brought it to us. We brought it to you, and you keep hearing spots done by Deborah supporting it. 14 biblical fruit purees. Tastes great. 5 servings of fruit and vegetables. Frankincense and myrrh. Alkaline minerals from the Dead Sea, and resveratrol. That is quite a mixture. The number to get it, 2 ways to get it, 1-800-442-3793, or online, folks, with the techie experience, fruitspirit.net. Not fruit of the spirit, fruitspirit.net. A couple of prompts. You'll see my name. Click on it, and then they'll let you take it the rest of the way. Let's see, our chips. I want to call a company. Got to get another speaker here. We had Dr. Potts, who was a clinician, talking about the use of the chip. I'd like to get one of the guys in the production line, like one of the scientists who made the chip. Going to try. They're having a big powwow down in Houston, I believe this week. So I may have trouble raising. Maybe take a week or two. But I promise you more information on the CR chip from experts that the company can provide us and bring on the show. I just think there's too much value here to let this one drop. It has shown to be quite an interesting intervention for those people, especially who have pain. I don't have as much input back from patients who have taken these chips for the other two reasons that the chips are made, which one is for those who have difficulty sleeping and those who have no energy, just any tiger in their tank. So I'm interested if I've ever placed a chip on anybody or given a chip to anybody who's listening who used it for the other two. Call us. Let us know. I don't know how successful I am with those. Pain-wise, wow, working like a charm. So that if you want to get these chips, one way to get it, come on in and see me for any other reason. You're going to be here for a consult. I'll place a chip on you while you're here, no charge. Or if you think that you'd like to be able to do it on your own, just go to the website, www.drcourtney.ciara.com. Now, Dr. Courtney is spelled D-R without a period at the end of it, C-O-U-R-T-N-E-Y. drcourtney.ciara.com. My website will come up, and you can read a little bit about it and go right to ordering the stuff right online. And that will just about take care of that. Okay, so we've opened them up to you today, 412-825-6262. Let's take a short break. And in the interim, I may get a knock on the door. A couple things I want to talk about. I want to find out if you're shaking things up yet at your local supermarket. I say Giant Eagle because it's my kind of supermarket. It's right in my backyard. I'm shaking them up. Are you shaking them up on ractopamine? Remember I talked about the other day. I want to find out if anybody's learned anything from their meat suppliers in their neighborhood. This is toxic stuff. And just added a blurb to how bad it was before. It's worse now that we know about this one. I was going to talk about something called CCR versus CPR. If you know what those letters stand for, you're already prompted as to where the discussion will go. And, of course, where you'll take it, 412-825-6262. We will be back in a moment.
This is Dennis J. Courtney, MD. Have you become confused about how best to manage your health? It's no wonder. It seems that every time you turn on the television or radio, another expert has yet another suggestion for you to follow that seems to be reasonable enough, but no matter how dutifully you follow the instructions, it just doesn't quite produce the results that you are looking for. If this confusion sounds familiar to you, give us a call at the Center for Complementary Health, where we'll make some sense of the confusion based on a blending of traditional and alternative medicine that we've been perfecting over the last 7 years. We offer metabolic nutrition testing, immune system repair, natural hormone replacement therapy, chelation therapy, cutting-edge allergy correction, and a host of other safe and effective alternative therapies.
Dennis J. Courtney, MD, is located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray. Phone 724-942-3002.
Honey, just got the word. The company's new health plan has a $5,000 deductible. We have to make sure nobody gets sick this year. Remember what those doctor's visits cost for last year's colds and flu? Oh, sorry, I gotta go. Love you.
We can do this. We can cut the fast food lunches. Soda, that's a lot of sugar. We could all take that evening walk. And hey, I heard a program about fruit of the spirit. What did they say? 1 ounce, the equivalent of 5 servings of fruits with herbs and minerals. We could add some to our breakfast protein shake. Fruit of the Spirit's unique whole fruit parade. Fruit of the Spirit contains fresh fruits native to the Holy Land and alkalizing minerals from the Dead Sea with no added sugars. Fruit of the Spirit's unique product from 5 years of work from science-based nutritional experts. Call 1-800-442-3793 for a special promotional offer. Fruit of the Spirit, a blessing for your good health. Fruit of the Spirit, convenient, affordable, and delicious. That's 1-800-442-3793. Call them now, 1-800-442-3793.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back once again to AM Impact on Your Health. Heard here on KHB 620 each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9. We're here on the Friday version of the show. We get them up out of town version of the show. We certainly get a little excited each and every Friday because we know weekend coming up. Don't know if that's good or bad for you this weekend. Hey, but it'll be some free time. Enjoy it. Enjoy us today and partake of it, if you will. Take over the show. Ask questions on whenever you'd like to. A couple cardiovascular issues came up this week, and you hit them quite heavily. 412-825-6262. We'll let you get in on this and knock on the door. And when I hear you knock, I'll let you right on in. In the interim, while waiting for you, I want to mention diabetics out there. I see a little note. I got a lot of notes, little Post-its sitting in front of me. But if you're diabetic, we got an APB app for all diabetics who really can benefit from custom-made footwear, shoes. We have a relationship with a company called Dr. Comfort. We have a big shoe display here in the waiting room. The good news is diabetics, these shoes can be made custom for you, and your insurances can cover the full cost of them. Also, too, whatever diabetic supplies you might require, instead of having to go and trug on out to the drugstore each and every month, maybe, the gentleman who runs this particular division can get those things brought right to your home. I still have your insurances cover them. So I think diabetics, they put the APB out to you because for the first time we actually offer something here that I don't believe is being offered by anybody else, and I always like to be able to do that. I got my pair of shoes. Just the other day, and boy, are they comfortable. Anyway, a lot of folks, we have about 4 or 6 of my patients who took me up on my offer. We're fitting folks as they come to the office. The gentleman, if you could prefer, actually would come to your house. All this can be made easy, so give us a call if you want to just be involved with the diabetic services that we're offering. Let Kim know when she picks up the phone. If you want to come in to the office, we can arrange for the meeting to take place between you and the representative here. We can have it arranged to be taken, the initial intervention with that representative in your home, wherever you want to do it. Parking lot of Walmart, wherever you want to do it, it can be done. And enough about that. Now, the other day, introduced, because of Mercola, Joe said it would, and Joe brings me some very interesting things. That's why sitting at the breakfast nook in the morning and going over my emails, I'm always anxious to find when there's a blurb from Joe. And he certainly, boys, did blast one out that gets me going, gets my dander up. I don't know if it got your dander up. It should have, to find out that, remember the headline I mentioned the other day, banned in 160 nations, but, hey, it's legal here. To make you feel good. And it turns out that we're now having, what were the numbers? I want to get this right. It is 30% of ration-fed beef, 45% of any pork, any pigs, 45% of those, and as yet is undetermined what percentage of turkey. I know turkey is more of a seasonal thing than anything else, but those other two, what's the chances of your local supplier getting this, I'll say it, tainted beef, fully legal here in this country, where it's not legal anywhere in Europe and plenty of the countries. And the laugher was, remember, China said, no, we do not want that stuff in here. And this is the one that gave us the contaminated dog food, the contaminated baby food, but they knew where to draw the line, boy. They went, no, we don't want any of that ractopamine, also called a couple of names. That ractopamine is a generic name. Also goes under the name of Paline and Optiflex. Anyway, it increases protein synthesis. That's why they're giving it. They being the people who are bringing this livestock to slaughter and to market, and they and then the other chemicals that are given, which at least I found out, I didn't know until I read this blurb. Any other chemicals are given to these animals, they stop giving it at least 2 weeks before slaughter. That's the rule. I don't like the fact they're getting it all, and that's probably should count it out as something that you would buy. But they had what was called a washout period of 2 weeks, saying that if you ended giving these chemicals 2 weeks beforehand, that the chemicals themselves would wash out by the time slaughter occurred, and that your particular meat source would be untainted. Not mentioning what kind of genetic effects it may have had by exposure, but nonetheless, there was a washout period. And with the case of this Paline or Optiflex, there is no washout period. In fact, the closer they can keep giving this stuff right up to the time of slaughter, increases protein synthesis, puts more bulk and muscle mass on the animal, and the animal brings a higher price at market. That's why. And I thought the most interesting comment was that a gentleman by the name of Taylor who was an industry giant at Monsanto, and he oversaw the whole GMO movement from the early 90s on, is now a head muckety-muck at the FDA, and just maybe, you have the rest of the story. Anyway, I said, go on out there. Hey, go to the meat departments, start asking questions, say, is this stuff laced with Paline or not? Find out. Hey, if it's laced with Paline and you know it, are you going to buy it? The head of that meat department needs to know that, because without the washout period, you're getting full dose of this stuff, and there carries a warning on this. And here's that warning, and then we're going to drop it for now, unless you want to bring it up. The warning on the drug, and it is a drug, not for use in humans. Individuals with cardiovascular disease should exercise special cautions to avoid exposure. Here are the special precautions. Number 1, use protective clothing. Number 2, use impervious gloves, gloves that don't have any way for any seepage of that drug to get into the material and onto you. Protective eyewear and NIOSH-approved dust masks. This is supposedly for this material that they can use right up to the time of slaughter. 30% of beef, 45% of pork items, and an unknown amount of the of turkeys. Anyway, let me know. Want to find out what happens at your local supermarket? I went to have a discussion with mine. He was not there. I'm going back, and I'll report to you. Please report to us how things are going out there. And if you find out, what if he says he doesn't know? Well, you say you better find out, and let him find out. And he should be able to find out. And then once you know, you're going to purchase any of those beef items there. I tell you what, it certainly made a change in the milk market here, especially in Pennsylvania, because the use of the injectable growth hormone is the big issue. That it was allowed here in Pennsylvania. It's still allowed here in Pennsylvania, but what happened was the milk suppliers went to the dairy farmers and said, hey, if you are going to inject your cows with that stuff, we don't want to buy it, because we're getting a lot of flack from people who are looking for hormone-free milk, And so if yours is hormone tainted, we won't be buying it. And it literally changed the industry because either A, they're not using the hormones anymore, or B, which probably is happening, they're using it, they're just not telling the big milk wholesalers. Anyway, enough on that matter. Another item hits hits my interest button, and it has to do with this CCR versus CPR. And a little known fact, I mean, a lot of people do know that in my previous life I was a school teacher. Absolutely. I worked at the high school level and taught in the public schools here in the South Hills for many years. And while doing that, and at that time, this is when the issue of CPR, which is cardiopulmonary resuscitation, was first to hit the scene. And for some reason, I was like on the scene, and I got recruited real early by a whole bunch of doctors to be involved with teaching laypersons as well as professional persons how to do CPR. These mannequins from a company called Laerdal were just becoming available, and I had these dummies in the back of my car, literally all over town. Thousands and thousands and thousands of citizens were probably well, not probably, they were. I don't know if they remember it. This was way back into the 1970s and 1980s. Anyway, CPR is a skill that we taught back then. Now to find out, and it sort of perplexed me a bit when I read it, but I have now read it in 2, 3, 4 sources, that the ventilation component. Now, in the old days, doing CPR the way you taught it, you did 15 chest compressions, and then you stopped, and you went to the mouth and tilted the head back and did 2 ventilations. So the ratio was 15 compressions, 2 ventilations, 15 to 2, 15 to 2. You just kept on doing that until help arrived. Well, now there's been a change, and it's based on research done by some pretty respectable institutions, the Mayo Clinic involved with this, saying for the lay public, and I do emphasize for the lay public, don't mess around with the ventilations. It's the part of this that causes problems anyway. The lay public isn't really looking forward to doing mouth-to-mouth resuscitation on a complete stranger. Number 2, and I'll tell you the real reason that they changed this isn't because of the hygienic concern of doing mouth-to-mouth resuscitation on a stranger. It has to do with, of the 2 components, chest compressions as well as ventilations, the most difficult to accomplish and to know you're doing it right is with the ventilation. And there's a whole host of little nuances that need to be appreciated in order for you to know that you're actually ventilating the person correctly. What is apparent to me after looking at all these articles and the various research that's done, and the reason why they've now changed this for the lay public and not said don't even worry about ventilations now. Just do the compressions. Just keep on pressing. There's no 15 now. There's 1,500. And you see, by stopping after 15 compressions, the pressure wave to the brain was interrupted for a period of time that just wasn't good. And then it took half of the compressions to get the pressure back up in the system again. So now they're saying just do CCR, which is continuous cardiac compressions. Don't worry about CPR, which is cardiopulmonary resuscitation. There's no ratio of 15 to 2 anymore. It's just keep on pressing until help arrives. And they're saying that the survival rates are much higher now. And so place that hand on the lower third of the sternum and press downward about 100 pounds of pressure, and you'll be able to generate enough blood movement to continue to supply the brain with a blood supply, albeit with what will turn out to be less oxygenated blood, but they're still oxygen obtainable in that blood, and so they're saying, hey, don't mess with the ventilation. In a hospital environment, they can continue to do CPR because that staff is much more conversant with the nuances of the ventilation. And it does not have to be given at all by interruption. I mean, a good person on that ambu bag can deliver a ventilation while the person at the chest just continues on with their compression. So it caught my eye this morning. Thought I'd pass it on to you. Hope you feel a little bit better about helping someone in need and not getting carried away with doing ventilations. At least that's what the research indicates. CCR it's called, not CPR. And good luck. By the way, hope you never have to use it. Heard a knock on the door. Come on in the store. Hello and welcome in.
Yeah, Dr. Courtney.
Go right ahead.
Yeah. Did you say that chemicals in turkey too?
What they said was they couldn't tell me what the percentage of the animal. They said 30% of beef, 45% of pigs, and they said an unspecified percentage of the turkey. So it's in a percentage of them. I just don't know what the percentage is. Nobody seemed to have any idea on what the percentage was, but it's out there.
Oh, it's definitely in there then.
It's in a percentage of them. Just like you couldn't say it's in all beef, but 30% is a pretty high number. And with respect to pork, 45%, almost half of all pork has it in there. I just can't even give you the guess because nobody sort of knew in the turkey industry how frequent that is. I actually have a source that I'm going to call upon. It's a relative that raises turkeys. I'm going to try to find out how frequent this is, and I'll report back to you.
Okay, very good.
Okay?
Thank you, Dr. Courtney.
Great question. By the way, I hope, in asking that question, the gentleman, as well as all of you listening, are prompted to go raise some havoc. Let's look, not havoc. Just go and ask the question to the local meat supplier, whether that's a Giant Eagle or Shop and Save or wherever the heck it is, and shake them up. You know what? I think you'll probably catch the head of the department off guard. I don't believe that he's just going to come out and say, "Oh yeah, we know what our percentage is." I think he's going to be a little perplexed. I think he's going to say, "I never heard of that stuff." But in the same breath, he knows where to go to get an answer, and that's the answer that both he and you need to know. You need to know it because you're going to find out once a percentage. If he comes back and he says, we do not buy anything like that at all, that makes you feel pretty good. But if he goes, hey, we don't do anything special to separate it out, you can just go with the numbers as known, even though the turkey issue isn't completely spelled out yet. I do have a family source I'm going to check on, and I'll bring back to you. And then put your money where your mouth was, and either buy or don't buy based on what you learn, and then share it with us. Come on the show and give us a blurb as to how it all went. 412-825-6262. We'll get you on in here. You can set the agenda. Let's do this. Let's take a short break and come back, and maybe a couple of you will have taken me up on my invite and just gone and knocked on the door. Be right back.
This is Dennis J. Courtney, MD. Have you become confused about how best to manage your health? It's no wonder. It seems that every time you turn on the television or radio, another expert has yet another suggestion for you to follow that seems to be reasonable enough, but no matter how dutifully you follow the instruction, it just doesn't quite produce the results that you are looking for. If this confusion sounds familiar to you, give us a call at the Center for Complementary Health, where we'll make some sense of the confusion based on a blending of traditional and alternative medicine that we've been perfecting over the last 7 years. We offer metabolic nutrition testing, immune system repair.
Yes.
We have one call waiting, and I won't beep you for that one call.
Thank you very much.
And a host of other safe and effective alternative therapies.
Dennis J. Courtney, MD, is located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray. Phone 724-942-3002.
Want to help your family eat healthier? Instead of learning to disguise tofu with wondrous ways, how about some real nutritional power? If your family has the typical American palate for fries, pizza, and burgers, giving your family the blessing of good nutrition is a struggle. Fruit of the Spirit is the answer for your family's nutritional needs. Fruit of the Spirit is an all-natural whole fruit puree made from fresh fruits native to the Holy Land with alkalizing minerals. Fruit of the Spirit was 5 years in the formulation, the work of a team of top nutritional experts with independent science to confirm its antioxidant power. 1 ounce a day provides the equivalent of 5 servings of fruits and minerals. Fruit of the Spirit is convenient, affordable, and delicious. Even your picky family will sing the praises of Fruit of the Spirit. Give your loved ones the blessing of good nutrition. Call 1-800-442-3793 for a special promotional offer. Fruit of the Spirit, a blessing for your good health. That's 1-800-442-3793. Call them now, 1-800-442-3793.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again to AIM Impact on Your Health here on this Friday Get 'em Up Out of Town version of the show, where we have decided to turn it over to you today. Anything on your mind is ogle-dogle with me. I got a number of things off of my chest, and I promise you I'm back on terra firma, down off my high horse, letting you ask whatever's on your mind and see if it takes us the rest of the way. In the interim, we did have someone who decided to come in and knock on the door. Let's let him in the store now. Hello and welcome aboard.
Hey, Doctor, how are you?
I'm wonderful. I hope you are too.
Yes, I am. Doctor, I didn't hear all what you were talking about, but is this product in all the organic and the...
Oh, no.
That...
No. Oh, that's a great question. The stuff that I was talking about has a really complicated generic name, ractopamine. It's called Paline as well as Optiflex. Those are brand names of this stuff. But goodness, thanks for asking that question, because the whole reason that Joe McCullough wrote about this on his website was to promote small farmers, okay? In other words, the only way you can actually be sure that the products that you're getting absolutely have none of these things in it, and I'm not just talking about the Paline, I'm talking about the injection of the bovine growth hormone and things like that, is to work with local farmers and cattlemen who literally in your own backyard or nearby it, and they'll let you know whether they use the stuff or not. And the likelihood is that because they're small farmers, they don't use any of these chemicals at all, and usually getting untainted meat. If you don't know or don't even have a clue as to where that may be found, I'll make a suggestion to you. In another 3-4 weeks, you're going to be having the Firehouse Market down in the Strip District start to take shape again. It does every year, and it goes all the way to Thanksgiving. At the Firehouse Market, all these products, poultry as well as beef products and pork products, are sold by farmers who don't use any of these chemicals. And they certainly will be able to sell you products of that type. And they can also give you information to tip you off as to what some of the other farmers that may be a little closer to you, maybe right in your backyard, that are doing the same. That is where I believe all of us should be led after hearing more and more about how, because of a technicality or because of some unscrupulous individuals at the FDA, boy, go figure how that can happen, huh? You can end up getting bogus products sent to you, completely legal, when 160 countries said, no way, we don't want it. But the U.S. says, go right ahead, guys, shoot them up. And tell you what, we have to talk about it on this show, and you as a consumer now know what to do about it. So no, organic meats, grass, range-fed, organically raised cattle and livestock don't have any of those chemicals at all. Wonderful question, and now you can act upon it just because you know how.
Oh, well, thank you so much, and thank you for your wonderful program. I'm so happy you're back on the air.
Oh,
Bye.
thank you. Thank you so much. I enjoyed your call. Thank you for your question. Yeah.
Bye, Doctor.
Yeah, thanks for that question. Because that was really the reason that Joe Mercola put it on the site, was trying to promote local farming, and so you want to sort of play roulette and the roll of the dice with any of the vegetables, fruits, vegetables, you name it. I have to trust when I go and find organic. That when I go to my market, I'm going to trust it. If it's called organic. But
thank you, Doctor.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye now. Yeah, I didn't realize she was still there. But if you actually know the farmer or know the person who raised the livestock, that's even the best yet. Because now you have a relationship with a real live individual that you know, that you speak to, that you can call. Hey, when you're starting to run out of stuff, you can call and just order some more. And I know the pricing of this is slightly, I say slightly higher, but look at the quality that you're getting, and not have to worry about the harm and the detriment that can come to you by eating these chemically tainted and abused materials, whether they be meat variety or vegetable or fruit. Anyway, 412-825-6262. We're coming around pretty close to that gun lap. We got plenty of time to let you come on in and give a knock at the door, 412-825-6262. Now, this week, I know we had a lot of chit-chat about ECP. I hope you all take me up on my offer. Come on in. What could be better than get a full-blown workup by cardiology? One that, in terms of your time, can't be done in any other more expeditious way in terms of spending about 3 or 4 hours here in my office and having our cardiologist, you know him, he's been on the radio show before, his name is Dr. Oliver Caminos, come in with his, what I call his whole dog and pony show. All the folks, all the techs come in and they bring in all their equipment and things like that, and for 4 hours here twice a month, you literally have a clinic with all of the possible studies that could be done in a hospital environment, but to do them in a hospital environment is like getting a tooth pulled without the Novocaine, because it's just so painful. It's sort of like, well, I only do the right kidney. I've got to send you to the next guy to do the left kidney. I know I'm being facetious. I know it's an exercise in humor, but working within a hospital environment as many years as I did, it almost is that bad, because they only have persons that do one skill. And then when you need the next technique, you got to go to somebody else. And maybe it's not right and left kidney, but it sure is. I do echoes, or I do Dopplers, or I do EKGs, and you got to go wait in line again. Here, it's just like just a moving. You get moving around the system, and people do 2 and 3 things. They don't do just one. And all the blood work that we'll get. Remember, there's 8 blood tests that are obtained every time a patient passes through our cardiologist scrutiny. These are the 8 blood tests that I give you a list of every so often, so you know what I'm talking about, where no doctors out there are ordering 7 of the 8 inflammation factors. They're always ordering one of them. I'll call it the lipid profile. There are 4 parameters in it. They are cholesterol, triglyceride, LDL, and HDL, and I swear to God, I could stop anybody at Giant Eagle and just say, hey, do you know your cholesterol level? And I think they can tell me. I think it's emblazoned in their mind because their doctors make such a big thing about it. And although I think that a big thing many times could be made about it, it's the least important of the 8. 7 other factors are more important to your overall risk than cholesterol, yet the conventional medical community only orders the lipid panel and not the other 7. And the reason, if it eludes you, and maybe you hadn't heard a previous show, but the answer to what the question that is literally begged by telling you what I've just told you is, how can that be? Why is it that they don't order all 8 of these inflammation factors if all 8 are important? And you say 7 are more important than the cholesterol anyway, and that's true. So why? Why don't they order? The answer is that as it stands right now, today, there are no medicines to correct the other 7 risk factors. There's only a medicine to help make a dent on the cholesterol issue. Go to those famous statin drugs, and Lord knows they're plagued with their own set of problems. But because there's a medication, a pharmaceutically manufactured way of dealing with it, well, that means that the medical community is hell-bent on like a hawk checking your cholesterol levels, which they changed the number on and now call 200 to normal. It is not. The normal range, go back in the medical books, 250 to 300. That's it. And so there's a skewed way that the medical community looks at this. There's certainly a medication to deal with it, but the point I'm making is that for the other 7 parameters, there is no medication yet. And I say to you, you better hope there never is, because in a kidding way, but in a way that I think may be all too true, you're going to need a wheelbarrow to get out of your doctor's office with all the stuff that he could heap up on top of you if there's a medicine for all 7 of those. And I say that your physicians who are very intelligent know about all 8 of these risk factors. I say to you, I am not smart enough to have invented these 8. Medical science has determined what all 8 of these are. Every one of your doctors knows what all 8 of them are. They understand how injurious each of the 8 are, and yet don't ever ask for the lab test to be run on 7 of the 8, and the reason isn't probably with good reason behind it, which is that why would you order something that if you got the level back and it showed that there would be a problem and this person had a risk factor maybe really out of control, and then you said, oh, look what we detected here, see this parameter, this is way out of whack. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about it. You just have to sort of live with it. And I think a lot of people would get upset. And for that reason, it's probably better that they don't go ordering something for which it would cause a lot of emotional disdain and dis-ease. So better off that they don't. But when you have a way to correct these, and so I guess the punchline is, even though there's no medicine to correct them, there certainly are vitamins, minerals, herbs, and the like that will, and these are not used by the conventional medical community. And so you need to, as we say around here, put out the fire with respect to these inflammation factors. And it's just one of the things, you can't know that you even have a fire until you have them ordered. And because our board-certified cardiologist allows your insurances to work for you, all of those lab tests will be ordered by me. It's called they affectionately referred to it as the Courtney panel. And so when they're here in my office, talking about all the techs that work for Dr. Caminas, those 8 lab tests are ordered. Even in Dr. Caminas' office in Monroeville, as long as the patient identifies himself as a Dr. Courtney patient, all 8 of those labs will be ordered. Now, if you're not stating that you're a Dr. Courtney patient and not in Monroeville, you're not going to have any of them ordered. For the same reason that I just told you, that the conventional medical community doesn't want to be alerting folks to a problem that they have no medication to correct. And that's the story. All right, let me climb down just a minute. Again, let's take a short break. I'll go get a shower. Be right back. Get worked up at these components of our medical community. I'm now getting calm. Back down in terra firma. We can take a short break. Come back. Hey, give us a call. 412-825-6262, 412-825-6262. We'll be back in a moment.
This is Dennis J. Courtney, MD. You become confused about how best to manage your health. It's no wonder. It seems that every time you turn on the television or radio, another expert has yet another suggestion for you to follow that seems to be reasonable enough, but no matter how dutifully you follow the instructions, it just doesn't quite produce the results that you are looking for. If this confusion sounds familiar to you, give us a call at the Center for Complementary Health, where we'll make some sense of the confusion based on a blending of traditional and alternative medicine that we've been perfecting over the last 7 years. We offer metabolic nutrition testing, immune system repair, natural hormone replacement therapy, chelation therapy, cutting-edge allergy correction, and a host of other safe and effective alternative therapies.
Dennis J. Courtney, MD, is located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray. Phone 724-942-3002.
Honey, just got the word. The company's new health plan has a $5,000 deductible. We have to make sure nobody gets sick this year. Remember what those doctor's visits cost for last year's colds and flu? Oh, sorry, I've got to go. Love you.
We can do this. We can cut the fast food lunches. Soda, that's a lot of sugar. We could all take that evening walk. And hey, I heard a program about fruit. Fruit of the spirit. What did they say? 1 ounce, the equivalent of 5 servings of fruits with herbs and minerals. We could add some to our breakfast protein shake. Fruit of the Spirit is unique whole fruit puree. Fruit of the Spirit contains fresh fruits native to the Holy Land and alkalizing minerals from the Dead Sea with no added sugars. Fruit of the Spirit is a unique product from 5 years of work from science-based nutritional experts. Call 1-800-442-3793 for a special promotional offer. Fruit of the Spirit, a blessing for your good health. Fruit of the Spirit, convenient, affordable, and delicious. That's 1-800-442-3793. Call them now, 1-800-442-3793.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back once again to AM Impact on Your Health here on our Friday version, the Get 'em Up Out of Town version. Literally in the gun lap home stretch, we are allowing you to come on in here and set to the agenda. Anything on your mind is okay with me. 412-825-6262. I think I hear a knock at the door. A little unsure, for sure. Hello. Welcome aboard.
Yes, Dr. Courtney.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Cardiovascular speaking, beta blocker versus calcium channel blocker, which would be the best control heart rate or slow it down, really?
Oh, okay. You filled in the final detail. Beta blockers are used in hypertension for one of the mechanisms that will help lower blood pressure, and that is to slow the heart down. So, propranolol, which is also known as Inderol, and metoprolol, and all the LOLs, LOL at the end. If your drug has an LOL at the end and generic name, because the brand name oftentimes doesn't give enough indication, you are on a beta blocker, and you will have your heart rate lowered. And it may be that you just have a rapid heart rate, in which case it's not for hypertension at all. But you filled in the blank adequately when you said which one would be better, calcium channel blocker or beta blocker to lower heart rate. Boy, thanks for feeding me the key line there to make the pop quiz an easy one for me. It's the beta blocker, no doubt about it.
Because my heart rate keeps jumping up to 120, 130, and
Yeah.
the blood pressures are fine. But
by the way, you have AFib?
Yes.
Okay.
And I tried the beta blocker, second pill. I had some unpleasant side effects from it. So they put me to a calcium channel blocker, so I'm not sure.
The calcium channel blocker will be for other reasons. It isn't slowing the heart rate down, but it's causing vasodilatation of blood vessels, which they're feeling that if they're able to intervene with re-nourishing the heart itself, they may have an influence on your rate. But I will say, anybody who has heart rates of over 120, you do need to consider using some medication to keep that under control, because that's not, as you know, how lousy you feel when that heart rate jumps up that fast.
Yeah, actually, I'm asymptomatic, but
You don't even know it. Maybe it doesn't stay there that long.
it goes, yeah, sometimes for an hour. It'll go into 120 and stay there for an hour. I had an EKG. It was at 130. It's bouncing around and it'll drop back.
Okay, well, as I say, usually whenever doctors work with patients who are having these accelerated heart rates, they're using 100 as their give and go. In other words, they want to continually see the heart rate under 100. So at 120, no, you got to work with them. Good luck.
I think the eye doctors from Italy that used the eye drops. His name was Bodini.
Oh, you know what? I have this question, and I'll write it down, because I had this. You're the one that asked the one about the Italian study for eye drops for cataract.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to mention it. Thanks for the Bodini.
And he's University of Rome.
Rome. Got it. Stay tuned on Monday. I'm going to ask that question of Dr. Condra. Okay?
All right, bye-bye.
All right. Very great. What share of information that was. Hey, I heard another knock on the door. Come on the store. Hello and welcome.
Hi, Dr. Courtney.
Hi.
I have a question. I'm very, very healthy. I went for a checkup this week, and my vitamin D level is very, very low.
Yeah, not really your fault either, because you live in Pittsburgh. What the heck?
I don't know. I don't know if it was 20. She said the normal low is 30.
Oh, that's very low. The normal should be 32 nanograms per milliliter. But you can't go and put a lot of blame on yourself. We don't get direct exposure to sunlight between the months of September and May, and consequently, without adequate exposure, everybody has a low vitamin D level. You got two choices here. Either get it up on your own by taking a supplement at least, you got to start at 5,000 units a day, okay?
She put me on a 50,000 IU once a week for 8 weeks. This is the first week that I'm on it.
Hey, you know what? I don't know. I tend to use an injectable way of doing it. I'd like to know how quickly that works for you, the 50,000 oral. I don't really know. Maybe
that's why I was calling. I wanted to how your opinion, how you would have.
Well, I'll tell you what I do is I put people on an injectable, 400,000 units in the hips, alternating, and keep checking the blood level. It'll take me about a month or two to get people to optimal. What we do know about vitamin D levels is this: 32 is not where you want to be. You want to be somewhere between 60 and 70 nanograms per milliliter, and you should rise 10 nanograms per milliliter for every 400,000 units that you take. Now, I'm not so sure that I can convert the 50,000 units that you're taking to how long it'll take you to get that done. But at 400,000 units, I know it'll take me, well, look, if you're 20 to 60, it's going to take 4 injections of 400,000 units, given every 3 weeks, to get you to optimal, and then it's only going to take 5,000 units orally to keep you there. Now, that's pretty good. I just don't want to wait around to get the level up to its optimal. And if I use an injectable source, I don't have to wait around. Within a month or two, I'm there.
Now, could that explain a lot of my bone pain and arthritis pain?
Well, I don't necessarily, that osteodynia isn't one I would say that you would find. Osteopenia, osteoporosis, yeah, absolutely. Thanks for that wonderful question. Give us a call if we can help.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Bye-bye.
Oh, alarm's going off. Bongos in the background. I guess you all know what that means. Look, I want you to have as good a weekend as you can. The sun is shining here right now. I don't know. We're supposed to look at Noah's Ark this weekend. Get through it. I'll see you on Monday with Dr. Condra. Until then, this is Dr. Dennis Courtney saying so long for AM Impact on Your Health.
AM Impact on Your Health is sponsored by Dennis J. Courtney, MD, Director of the Courtney Medical Group, located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray, Pennsylvania. For more information or to make an appointment, call 724